evening and welcome to your Thursday, September 26, 2024 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. PNC's plan for oil sector wishy-washy, says VP JAGDEO. Low uptake of government's EYECARE cervical cancer screening initiatives. Guyana-UAE signed visa-free travel agreement. Senior cop charged with a sexual assault gets bail, and creating market for biodiversity credits among focus as Global Alliance launched, says President Ali. Now for the news in detail. The People's National Congress recently revealed a 20-point plan for the management of the country's oil sector should they be elected into government next year. But Vice President Dr. JAGDEO has discredited the proposal and went even further to remind the populace of the failures of the PNC's past plans. Vanu Manikchand has the details.
The PNC, APNU, issued its plan for the oil and gas sector. So, as we had predicted, that they would not have much to say, that it will be another wishy-washy document.
That was Vice President Dr. JAGDEO on the PNC-led Partnership for National Unity's set of policies, strategies, and principles to manage the oil and gas sector if elected into government. In the plan, the opposition party said it would review the controversial 2016 oil contract that the APNU-AFC coalition signed while in government with ExxonMobil, but did not explicitly say whether they would renegotiate the terms like low royalties and cost oil claims. According to JAGDEO, the opposition's plan is devoid of specific actions that would be taken to properly manage the petroleum sector.
In the 20 points plan, they have 12 are about feasibility studies and review. So no commitment and nothing. 12 of the 20 points are feasibility studies and review of what exists now. So no commitment to policy. No commitment to policy there. This is supposed to be a policy document where you outline what you're going to do.
In contrast, the Vice President outlined the series of actions taken by the current People's Progressive Party civic government to not only improve transparency and accountability in the management of the sector, but also get more benefits for Guyana and its people.
In our manifesto, we made it clear. We said we're going to do the following things. We're going to move to auction future blocks, moving away from the first come for serve basis, on which contracts were in the oil and gas sector or the licenses were awarded in the past. We've done that. We said we're going to pass a local content act. We did that. We said we'd review the NRF. We did that. We said we will pass a new Petroleum Activity Act, updating the 1986 one. We did that. We said we'll strengthen the environmental permits. We did that in every case. We said we'll publish all of the permits, and we did those. We had a list of specific things to do. We said we will spend oil and gas money in the following sectors: healthcare, education, infrastructure, vulnerable groups, children, women, elderly, and the disabled, and we'll save some for the future. Very, very specific. And we were in opposition. We didn't say, we said we'll pass a new PSA. We did that. We said in the new PSA, we will revise the following provisions, and we did that. We'll address ring fencing, we'll address the low royalty rate, we'll address the corporate tax, we'll address the percentage for amortization. We did that.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
Vice President Dr. JAGDEO has lamented that some of the government's free healthcare initiatives are not being utilized to their full capacity by the targeted population. He was referring to the government's eye testing and spectacles program, as well as the cervical cancer screening initiative. Here are the details from Michael Henry.
During a press conference on Thursday, Vice President Dr. JAGDEO explained that the eye test and spectacles program was intended to target 200,000 children and some 74,000 pensioners, but the uptake has been low.
So we're talking about 274,000 beneficiaries of this program. We've had only about 23,000 eye tests done, eye tests, and 18,753 spectacles issued. Now, I understand not everyone may need this because some people may have already had their eyes tested, kids as well as pensioners, and they may already have spectacles. But there's nothing wrong with coming back and getting your eyes tested again and getting a second pair of spectacles.
In June, the Ministry of Health had launched the Eye Testing and Spectacles program, which saw the distribution of two types of vouchers: a $2,000 voucher for testing for school-aged children and seniors over 65, and a $15,000 voucher to help cover the cost of spectacles if needed. The ministry had also ruled out the cervical screening program, targeting women between the ages of 21 to 65. With a budget of $2.8 billion, the program provides $8,000 vouchers for cervical cancer screenings, which can be redeemed at participating institutions. But JAGDEO lamented that the uptake for this has also been low.
Although they have shared out about 60,000 vouchers, we only have just 3,300 tests done so far. You're talking about potentially 300,000 beneficiaries. And we've done about 1%, and we're in September. I hope that more women would utilize this facility, uplift their vouchers, and go and get tested.
Michael Henry, The Evening News.
Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell is pleading with the general public to continue to exercise patience as engineers from the Guyana-Water Incorporated work to replace the aged pipelines in Georgetown. He explained that ongoing works are part of GWI's commitment to deliver quality water to consumers. Trishelle Sobers reports.
The Guyana-Water Incorporated GWI is expending millions to further upgrade the aged pipe infrastructure in Georgetown in order to improve the level of service and quality of water customers receive. Currently, works are ongoing on Main Street within the vicinity of the Humaniana and Hatfield to the Bank of Guyana. The scope of works includes the drilling of main access road, removal of aged cast iron and cement pipes, and the installation of high-density polyethylene pipes. In providing an update to media, Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell explained that the work in the areas aforementioned will be completed soon.
I know persons have been asking about the road. We can't really cap that road as yet because we have one more portion of the road to cut out to change the connecting pipe. And so we're asking for a maximum of 10 days within that vicinity. But there are some leakages along the way that we're trying to address. The second major change out that we have happening now is from Brickdam Road to that will end up to somewhere in the vicinity of Bank of Guyana. It is envisaged will be both sides that has to change out. We have now started work from from Brickdam. We are waiting maybe in another week because we have to get permission. We have to work.
Over the years, residents living in and around Georgetown have complained about low water pressure at various times during the day and night. Crowell explained that with the replacement of aged mains, there will be an improved level of service and water quality.
So there are two major aspects of this for the change out of the pipes that you're seeing. For us to, first of all, you have leakages that are happening in its own course of action. And so when we turn up the pressure here, you will have leakages that are happening in those areas. That's one aspect. Then secondly, the heavier load that is traversing the road now. So the heavier truckload, etc., that weight that is traversing those main roads, obviously is putting a lot of pressure underneath. And so just in those two areas, it's very important for us to quickly have all of these old pipes, many of cast iron pipes, change out as quickly as possible.
The replacement of age mains formed part of the Guyana-UAE Incorporated's 5-year strategic plan for 2021 to 2025. Thus far, replacement works have been successfully executed along Visinjan Road, Church Street, in All Boys Town, and on Sheriff Street. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
In light of recent power outages being triggered as a result of construction works across the country, Chairman of the Private Sector Commission, Kumal Singh, has called for measures to be put in place to avoid recurrences of such incidents. Gerald Bryan tells us more.
With the recent spate of power outages across the country, the government had gone out to tender earlier this year for companies capable of supplying 60 megawatts of power to the grid. A number of local and foreign companies had answered this call, with the bids recently being opened. According to Private Sector Commission PSC Chairman Kumal Singh, such measures are indeed necessary in the short term until the massive 300 megawatt gas-to-energy project comes on stream next year.
Recently, government also have a tender out for additional power to be supplied. It's a viable short term, and that's why we need to be strategic in the short term power purchase agreement. We don't want to have short-term power purchase agreements where you have to put in millions of dollars infrastructure work. And that's why the one that was implemented recently, where a barge came and it just connected into the grid, there was no investment cost in terms of infrastructure work. So when you finish using that service, the boat just needs to sail and go. In the old days, if you see power purchase agreement coming in, we had to build infrastructure.
When there was a recent power outage, GPL had explained that vibrations from nearby construction work had been responsible for a power line tripping and causing the outage. According to Singh, preventative measures are needed whenever construction work is being done in close proximity to such wires.
For a lot of the infrastructure work that is currently taking place, we have construction taking place across Guyana. Many of these construction are taking place right next to high power cable. Now, we cannot do construction work next to high power cable. So whenever those works are taking place, those power needs to be cut. And obviously, the communities and the villages will also be affected from that. So it's a work in progress, and I think, if we continue to work together, when the gas energy power plant gets up and running, that will also interject quite a bit of power into the grid, and we can see a lot more improvement taking place when that gets on stream.
Currently, the peak demand for electricity in Guyana is about 205 megawatts compared to the 189 megawatts just 2 months ago. Only last week, the government had invited interested companies to submit proposals for a second power plant and NGL facility at Wales. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
We now tell you that Guyanese traveling to the United Arab Emirates will no longer be required to have a visa in order to enter the Middle East country. This was made possible through a new agreement inked between Guyana and the UAE earlier this week on the sidelines of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. According to a social media post from the UAE mission to the UN, UAE's Minister of State for International Cooperation, Reem bint Ibrahim al-Hashimi, met with President Dr. Irfan Ali to sign a memorandum of understanding establishing mutual exemption of entry visa requirements between the two countries. The agreement was signed by Minister al-Hashimi and Guyana's Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister Hugh Todd at the Guyana mission in New York on Tuesday. Coming up, senior cop charged with sexual assault gets bail, and 400 million Cotton Tree water treatment plant, 80% completed. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
I am Simone Ford, and I'm the owner of Siege Eco Clean Services. I provide my services to the oil and gas sector. We provide janitorial services which are environmentally friendly, so we produce healthier homes and healthier workspaces.
No matter the state of your home, you can make it beautiful for any occasion.
N&S Mattai's Home Goods Warehouse. Simply better.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Premier's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Premier's rise to stardom has been one for the record books. The first team to get a GY A+ rating. They boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Premier's financial and technical strength that is out of this world.
Premier. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Guys, I think I'm in love! Wow!
Yeah, I was looking at you too.
What? What are you talking about? I'm in the tiles. Where did you get them?
Oh, me, Madeka. Obviously the best tile store in Guyana. Come, let me take you there.
My kitchen, my bathroom, my floors. Mima Decor has everything. And the prices are great too.
So, yeah, I want to have a date now.
We can build on that.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Superintendent Carl Wilson, who is stationed at CID headquarters, appeared yesterday at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Faith McGusty, where he pleaded not guilty to 2 charges of sexual assault. He was placed on $75,000 bail on each of the charges and has to return to court on October 16, 2024. No other details on the case were provided. Months after hinting about mobilizing biodiversity-rich countries, President Dr. Irfan Ali yesterday announced the launch of a global biodiversity alliance that will model Guyana's carbon credit initiative. Find out more in this Vanu Manikchand report.
President Dr. Irfan Ali made this announcement during his contributions to the ongoing general debate of the 7th and 9th United Nations General Assembly being held in New York. Addressing the afternoon session on Wednesday, the head of state pointed out that Guyana has preserved its rich biodiversity and knows its value. In fact, he believes it is only fair and just that this vital global asset be monetized in a fair carbon market.
Today, I am pleased to announce the launch of a global biodiversity alliance. We will convene the first Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit in 2025, which will focus on creating a market for biodiversity credits, scaling biodiversity conservation debt swaps, accelerating biodiversity bonds, establishing a blueprint for biodiversity taxonomies, and promoting nature-positive action.
Already, the World Wildlife Fund has described Guyana as one of the world's most important countries for biodiversity density, especially since it straddles 2 of the richest biodiversity zones, the Guyana Shield and the Amazon. And according to the Guyanese leader, Guyana's dedication to preserving its rich biodiversity is reflective in its actions.
We do not make this announcement by mere words. Guyana is also committed to doubling its protected areas by December 2025 and achieving the global biodiversity target of 30% by 2030. These are real solutions that Guyana is putting forward to address the global problem of biodiversity loss. We do not lecture, we lead by example without arrogance.
Only back in July, the head of state had disclosed plans for Guyana to spearhead a global alliance aimed at securing funds to bolster the preservation of the biodiversity in the Amazon basin. Government has since allocated 15% or $4.7 billion of the annual earnings towards Amerindian development. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
In addressing a high-level regional forum, Guyana's Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa issued a call for more support to ensure vulnerable populations across the world, particularly in the region, have access to food and agriculture resources. Michael Henry tells us more.
Guyana has already committed to Sustainable Resources to Food Security Initiative, and we are ready to continue doing so. But we also need more support at the regional and global levels to ensure that the most vulnerable population have access to food and agricultural resources.
That was Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa addressing a high-level dialogue about reflections on the fight against hunger in Latin America and the Caribbean. The minister shared Guyana's experiences and success stories in revitalizing the agriculture sector and making food more secure, not just for the country, but the entire Caribbean region. On this point, the minister reflected on the vulnerability of the regional agriculture sector.
Grenada, the entire agriculture sector was wiped out with Hurricane Beryl. St. Vincent and the Grenadines was affected severely, and this is a continuous process that the Caribbean region have to face.
Against this backdrop, Minister Mustafa emphasized that Guyana is committed to doing its part in achieving food security, and he underscored the importance of regional leaders working together.
Guyana is committed to sharing our experience and learning from our neighbors. The issues we face, from climate change to economic volatility, has significant regional implication, and our solution must be regional as well. It must cover the Caribbean and Latin America. We must align our policies, leverage regional strength, and deepen our partnership to ensure that the entire Latin America and the Caribbean region can achieve food security. This dialogue is a critical step in coordinating our effort and ensuring that we move forward as a united region.
Michelle Henry, The Evening News.
The $400 million water treatment plant being constructed at Cotton Tree in Region 5 is nearing completion. Trishelle Sobers has the details.
Works are progressing on the $400 million Cotton Tree water treatment plant under construction in Region 5. In fact, the pertinent piece of infrastructure is approximately 80% complete. Some 15,000 residents between Number 6 Village to EYECARE are set to benefit from quality water services soon. During an inspection of the facility on Tuesday, the minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, revealed that the upgrading of the plant, the transmission and distribution lines are being extended to provide residents with improved service.
We are hoping to commission this new upgrade early in December of this year.
And how many residents from Cotton Tree and other communities will benefit from this when it's completed?
When all the works are completed, we are looking at 100% on Region 5 coastline. Of course, you know, there are some Amerindian communities and so on within Region 5, which have their own wells, but in terms of treated water coverage, it will be the entire coastline.
Meanwhile, works on the new $2 billion water treatment plant at Bath is also advancing and is expected to be completed by the end of the year.
The new water treatment at Bath will benefit 43% of the region. So the new one that's being constructed is a major one. So that one alone will cover 43% of all the residents in Region 5. So that combined with this upgrade and the smaller water treatment plants will be able to cover the entire coast of Region 5.
Minister Rodriguez further explained that several other small treatment plants are being installed in De Hoop and Campbell to enhance access to treated water. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
33 students were yesterday awarded bursaries by Guyana Water Inc. worth $1.4 million in recognition of their outstanding performance at the last National Grade 6 assessment. Trishelle Sobers reports that the presentation held at GWI's headquarters at Shelter Bell, Georgetown, was attended by Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell and senior company officials and parents.
Among the bursary awardees were students who attained spots at top secondary schools such as the Bishop's High School, St. Stanislaus College, St. Joseph High, Christ Church Secondary, Bushlot Secondary, and Abramsul Secondary School. The 32 students were children of employees from the Guyana Water Incorporated, GWI. Addressing the gathering, Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowe congratulated the students on excelling at the NGSA and used the opportunity to urge their parents to pay keen interest to their children's education. Meanwhile, the students were also encouraged to explore studies in industries such as oil and gas and engineering.
The field in which you will choose, the subject area that you will pursue, the goals that you want to achieve, it's much wider now than when we had our opportunities. It was limited then. But we also want more of you to get into science, technology, and anything that maths related.
Further, Kroll emphasized the importance of paying maximum attention to English and mathematics, pointing out that these two keen subjects are vital for employment and matriculation at the university level. Moreover, he appealed to them to continue to do well in school and focus on what they want to become and avoid bad company.
Work hard. So anything that you are embarking on, whether it's your school, whether it's your extracurricular activities, which would mean sports, and in some schools they have other activities, including development for yourself, so that will mean even acting, for even debating, etc. Impromptu speaking, as was mentioned, yes, we used to do it on the stage. Anything that you are embarking on, try to do it to the best of your ability. And once you do it to the best of your ability, you will be satisfied that you've given your best. And I'm sure most times you will have the optimum output. Because once you put in hard work, the result of hard work, you will see that.
In 2023, $1.3 million was disbursed to employees' children who attained a secondary school at a national Grade 6 assessment. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Friday, September 27, 2024 at 0:30 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Friday, September 27, 2024 at 13:20 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Amazon Warriors engage blind cricketers and Coach Kandar to host 2-month youth program. These and more stories coming up in this evening's Sportcast, sponsored by Macorp.
Hi, I'm Timothy Ramjan, and this is Macorp Rental. We have the right equipment and generator for your coming project. Call me on 698-8116. Macorp, let's do the work.